Okay, my friends, Roger Spur, Mudfossil University, Mystery History 2, a fabulous channel, talking about things that people refuse to talk about. These are giant human skeletons that they found in China. Now, the human skeletons were very, very recent, and these are they were giants, and but they weren't the giants like I have. Okay, he's going to go on to say about these giant structures and how we're so tiny compared to what they did in these giant stones, and who could have moved them? Well, giants.
Quarries many hundreds of miles, but placed aloft many meters with seeming ease. Furthermore, we have in the past not only postulated and have also presented reams of witness testimony and photographic corroboration, still to be found in newspaper archives across the Western world.
Here, let me show you something soon to be found, but totally dismissed. And I contacted Stonehenge, and they told me, don't ever contact us again. You see that? That's what they call a heel stone. That's at Stonehenge. It's a foot. It's quite a distance from the main structure, I believe. Now, this is what we call no toes. Now, this might have had toes, I'm not sure, but it's sealed now. It's nucleophilic invasion, and it's been substituted. Now, I believe it started just like this, and this is the same thing. You see that? The reason that's growing right there is because that's where the blood was. You can see there was a bone right there. Like if I get it in the right shadow, you can see, and there was a bone right there, and that's the blood that fed this bone, and that is no toes. You see, the no toes are in there, but they're encapsulated inside. I have other ones that are in better shape. This one here is the toes are still completely encased. And they had springs in the side instead of tendons like us. But they still had a tibia and a fibia and an arch and all that business, the same sort of thing. Now, if they just can't accept what's sitting in front of their face to be able to walk around in circles, well, that's all I can say is they're walking around in circles. Because this is not unproven anymore. My stuff is all DNA certified. I have a giant that's as big as this, or maybe even bigger. The one I have has a fingertip that's 3 feet long. Let me show you the fingertip. Okay, what I want you to remember is this is a bone, and it's a fingertip. Well, it's a fingertip, and the bone is literally inside, and the flesh that covered that bone had turned into stone, as you can see. There's the fingernail. There's the pad on the bone, in the back of the bone, that bumps up against the next bone. Each one of these bones in your body is completely individual from the other bones. It's wrapped in what they call tunica. You see this? That's tunica. That's a wrapping that wraps the bone in this membrane. Now, your skin is also a membrane. If it's preserved in the right conditions, your skin, your flesh, your eyeballs, every single thing on you, even like this duck, goose or whatever it is I got around here, even feathers will be preserved into stone. It's called nucleophilic invasion. Absolutely fully understood now. I've studied it for 10 years. I know exactly how it works. I've done it. I've nucleophilically substituted chicken tissue and turned it into stone. And it's not hard to do. It's very simple. And that is a gigantic fingertip, and not only is that side, the fingernail, perfect, the fingerprints are just like yours and mine. And there they are right there. You see that? My finger is the size of one of the ridges in the fingerprint. This is what they call grip skin. You see all the dots and so forth, the sweat pores? That's what you got here. This is what it is. That's the grip skin, ridges. And that's the sweat pores, and that's the skin. Now, it's about this thick. On us, you know, it's not thick at all. It's quite thin. But this particular creature, I believe 160, 180 feet tall. So if they're talking about giants, they're not talking about giants. And I have other ones, too. I have this one here, which is, well, here's the hand from it. Hold on. Let me see. This is a fingertip, but I got all kinds of parts from this one. And this one here, here's the rest, the hand part itself. The fingertip came off one of these fingers, and the hand, the palm, is right there. It's just like yours. There's the palmy part, the fluffy part of your hand. And there's the tendon. It runs down right here, just like you have. And then this is the grip skin here. Because grip skin doesn't just cover the fingerprints, it covers your whole, where you grip things. This is tough, 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 tough. And that's why it's a different color and it's peeling off. Because it's loaded with, I think, metals and minerals and silicates that are not normally present in the rest of your skin. Like your face is nothing like your grip skin. Anyway, it's 10 years, I know what I'm talking about. So don't forget that you got a long DNA certified human. You've got this hand and fingertip and so forth, DNA certified human. And you had that gigantic one that I showed you in the beginning, DNA certified human. And yes, it's very easy to get blood out of stones because they are saturated with blood. And they have the same fibrin backing clotting fabric that comes in us as well. And then the blood, because this is a body. The body still has a lot of the stuff in it that was in it when you were alive. And if it's kept in the wet, moist, muddy conditions, when it dries out, that stuff just comes out just like it was bleeding. And check this out. You want to see something? I showed you the lungs before. Here's what they look like when they first came. One of them was like this. And its blood came out all over my counter. And this is the alveoli, and it's stripped down, all the fascia and the pleura is all gone. And this is what it is right here. Here's those little holes. And this one here is the one that I sent off. Well, I didn't send it off. I extracted the DNA from all of my samples. The big ones I obviously couldn't move. And there was no sense to send it. I just drilled inside and got blood out of it. So it's no big deal. And I was very careful about it, and he said it was very dense DNA. There was no chance of contamination, and the negative controls turned out negative. It was a PCR test, very solid test. All right, here's the test. Now don't forget, there's 3 different size human, and they're all human. This one here is the same size as us. There was one that was about, I figured about 60 feet or so, the mud tip. And then the gigantic 3-foot-long fingertip, I figured that's 160, 180 feet tall, something like that. This was a DNA test done. They were done 6 years ago, and not a single academic, teacher or anything will take a look at it. They refuse, absolutely refuse. I have everything. I have CAT scans, I have DNA, I have specimens, I have anatomists, I have chemistry, and not a single teaching institution will allow this to be seen. So that tells you all you need to know. And here it was, Homo sapien mitochondrial B, D loop, and B gene. And here it says right here, excellent quality DNA sequence was obtained from the 36-inch tip, the big gigantic one, and for the lung. The mud tip was more turned into mud than blood. And here's all the sequencing, and this was a certified, validated test. So all I could say was verified by the lab director, Helix Biolabs. Now, if you don't look at things, well, you don't look at things, and then we're being led by frauds and liars as far as I'm concerned. I have no respect whatsoever for academia anymore. None. Zero. You saw my stuff. It goes back 10 years that I've been trying to get anybody to look at it. Well, this goes back to 2017. These giants were found. That's the last word about them in 2017 until Mysteries History 2 did this just 2 hours ago, put up, what's going on? Why doesn't anybody look at this stuff? 2017, that's it, done, case is closed. Go home, forget about all this stuff. Don't tell any of the kids about it because it'll make them confused. That's my issue. I want clarity, and I want openness, and I want a forum to discuss our true history.